the pick and mix. She did neither. She didn't move an inch. "Next door has been sold, I see," she said. "Pardon?" "I said, the house next door to yours has been sold." George frowned. "Has it?" The for sale sign had still been in its customary position this morning. "Are you sure?" "Definitely." "Who has bought it?" It had been empty for months, ever since old Alice Griffiths had died. Mrs. Hayworth took a step closer to him and leant in, her voice a conspiratorial whisper. "Her name is Nessa Millbrook, and she's from England." The latter word was spoken with some degree of suspicion mixed with annoyance. George suppressed a snort. Folks around these parts weren't too keen on people from away buying up properties as second homes, then hardly ever living in them, and normally he'd agree with the general consensus that second homers were bad for the community. But in this instance, he was pleased the house next door to him would only be used occasionally. He wasn't keen on neighbours, and his fellow villagers were far too nosy for his liking. The second homers were notorious for keeping themselves to themselves and not integrating, which suited him perfectly. "And did you know Maisie Beddoes is pregnant again? And John Porter lost a cow last night," Mrs. Hayworth continued. "I bumped into his wife this morning on the way to pick up a prescription from the chemist, and she was telling me all about it." "No, I didn't. How did it happen?" George wasn't at all interested, but he prided himself on being courteous, despite his reluctance to interact with his fellow villagers. Mrs. Hayworth shrugged. "Don't ask me, I don't know nothing about cows." Neither did George. He might have grown up in Applewell and had lived there since moving back from the bright lights of Liverpool in order to look after his father when his mother died, but cows weren't his speciality, despite the village sitting slap bang in rural West Wales. "If you see her, send her my regards," George said politely. "You'll probably see her before I will, so you can send them yourself." "Will I?" George was perplexed. He didn't bump into Angharad Porter very often, despite her living in the farm at the end of his lane. "She's moving in today." "Moving where?" Mrs. Hayworth let out a sigh. "It's right what they say about you," she muttered, just loud enough for him to hear. Then she spoke in a more normal tone. "The house next door to you." "Angharad Porter?" "Why would she be moving? Heaven help us. Not her, your new neighbour, Nessa Millbrook." "Ah, I see. Apologies. Crossed wires. Must be off. Work, you know." Despite his reluctance to touch the woman, George squeezed past, anxious to leave. What had she meant by that comment about him? What were people saying about him? He wished the good people of Applewell would mind their own business. That was the last time he'd exchanged pleasantries with Mrs. Hayworth, although he could honestly say nothing about his encounter with her had been pleasant. Crossly, George marched along the pavement towards Pins to Elephants, lamenting on the unavoidable issues of living in a small community, and a frisson of unease travelled down his chest to coil in his belly. He'd have to be extra vigilant, that was all, he told himself. He was careful to ensure the bungalow was neat and tidy outside, while nets up at every window ensured his privacy. Now what did he want in here, he wondered, as he came to a halt in the shop's doorway. Oh yes, a new radio. For some inexplicable reason, his had abruptly stopped working yesterday evening. He'd fiddled with it, tapped it, unplugged it and plugged it back in, then banged it hard with the flat of his hand, before finally acknowledging it was defunct. With great reluctance, he concluded he needed to purchase a new one, because he liked listening to Radio 4 whilst he was working, and simply couldn't be without one. He'd not throw the old one out, though, because it might come in handy.